Japan Makes Me Scared, a podcast to the chilling realm of Japanese horror stories. My name is Junpei, and I will invite you to the mysterious world of Kaidan, exploring spine-tingling experiences that have haunted Japan. Konbanwa minasan. Welcome back to another episode of Japan Makes Me Scared. I'm Junpei, your host, and I'm gonna share various horror, scary stories of Kaidan in this podcast. Question of the day: do you know how vast nature in Japan is? For those of you who've been listening to this podcast for a while, you may be tired of how many times I've told you this, but almost 70% of Japan is covered by forests and mountains. And what is more, most of Japan's population is concentrated in large cities, such as the Kanto region, which includes Tokyo and Yokohama, where I live now, and the Kansai region, which includes Kyoto and Osaka. As you can naturally imagine, this means that many forests and mountains are uninhabited areas. Of course, there are probably few areas, or even none, where people didn't set foot in the past. You know, in this day, even roads deep in the forest can be viewed on street view if you search for them on some map apps. Then it sounds more realistic, doesn't it? But if nature is so vast, there may still be something unknown lurking in there. Among Japanese, there seems to be a vague fear of such things in nature. Some parts of me also had this feeling too. Well, since I was a child, my parents told me stories about yoga in the mountains, and I watched animes about ghosts and monsters. This advanced education had a huge influence on it as well, though. You know, it's part of our cultural background. Today's story is about a cursed village that may still exist somewhere deep in the mountains of Japan. Alright, let's move on to the storytelling part. Episode 36, Sugisawa Village. First of all, let me answer the question you all might have. What is Sugisawa Village? Sugisawa Village is the name of a village that is said to have once existed in Aomori Prefecture. It also refers to a series of urban legends associated with it as well. It is reported that stories about Sugisawa Village have been spreading locally as rumors for some time. But with the spread of internet around the late 90s, stories about the village also began to attract attention online. In August 2000, the story was introduced on the popular Japanese TV program, Unbelievable, which covers all genres of mysterious experiences and presents them as documentary-style videos. This was a point when it spread awareness of Sugisawa Village throughout Japan. Since it became popular all around Japan, there are a variety of experiences and stories about the village, mainly posted on the internet. But it mostly follows some storyline that goes like this. The rumor has it that there is a village called Sugisawa Village, deep in the mountain in Aomori Prefecture. There is an old torii gate and a rock shaped like a skull under the gate. That is said to be the entrance to Sugisawa Village. On the road to the village, there is a sign saying, "No one who enters from here is guaranteed to be back alive." Further on, the abandoned village appears. Its ruins are covered with old bloodstains, suggesting that a tragedy took place in the past. Sugisawa Village was actually inhabited until the early Showa period. One day, however, a young man suddenly became mad and started slaughtering villagers with an ox in his hand. The village was completely wiped out, leaving only the young man behind. The young man also took his own life in the end. The Japanese government took the situation very seriously at the time and deleted all documents and records relating to Sugisawa Village, and even erased its existence from any maps. However, it is said that evil spirits of the murdered people and that crazy young man still live in this abandoned village and attack anyone who wanders there. Once there was a man who went to the village but couldn't escape from the villagers. He eventually lost his mind and is reportedly still in the mental hospital. This is the basic story of Sugisawa Village. How do you feel about that? You wanna go and look for the village? Or you think you had an interesting new toy to deep dive into, don't you? At least, Japanese people on the internet also seem to have found it that way, and then they started research on their own and shared some theories about it. First, people started looking for the location of Sugisawa Village. You remember how the village entrance is described in the legend, right? There is a torii gate, and a skull-shaped rock is placed underneath. Along with that, based on the information given, a place has been identified. This is an area called Obatazawa Kosugi in Aomori City. Actually, this area is surrounded by mountains, but it's not too far from Aomori Airport and Aomori City Center. The torii gate is located right next to a paved road and can also be easily reached. By the way, I placed a Google Maps embed on my website, so you can check the location and how the torii gate looks like on my website if you're interested. Beyond the torii gate, there is a stone monument inscribed, as well as several other stones. However, the skull-shaped rock on the torii gate cannot be found. Well, there might be a rock that looks like a skeleton, only if you really try hard to force yourself to see it that way though. If you go further into the way, you will find a small hut with red roof, but it is only a single house and does not look like a part of an abandoned village. And there are no bloodstains, as described in the legend as well. But wait, don't be too much disappointed. There are some things in real life that seem to be related to Sugisawa Village. Well, at least to some elements of it. When it comes to the name of the village, Sugisawa, one theory says it is not the actual name of the village, but a common name for this Kosugi area. In the past, people used to say Sugisa Iku, which means going to the Kosugi area in the local dialect of the area. The theory is that the Sugisa changed to Sugisawa as time passed. and also the skeleton-shaped rock. As mentioned earlier, such a distinctive rock cannot be found under the Torii Gate in the Kosugi area, but it can be found somewhere not far from it. That is Ishigami Shrine, which is also in Aomori City, and is about 40 minutes away from Torii Gate. In the main area, at the end of a long stairs, a large stone of about 2 meters in height is enshrined. The rock has 2 round stones that look like eyeballs, and appearance as a whole is surprisingly like a human face. By the way, I also placed a Google map of this Ishigami shrine on my website, so please check it out if you want to see the location and the pictures of the rock there. Anyway, as a Torii Gate also exists at this Ishigami shrine, some believe that this is the entrance to Sugisawa Village, instead of the other Torii Gate that I talked about earlier. You know, this is a weak theory because there's no connection with the origin of the name, Sugisawa Village, or other features mentioned in the legend, but it may have been an element in the formation of the Sugisawa Village legend. Another major element of the Sugisawa Village legend, while it could be the biggest, must be that the madman killed all the villagers. In the Kosugi area, there are no records of such tragic incidents, but when you look at the history of Japanese crimes, there is a murder case that is said to have been a source of this element. That is Tsuyama massacre. Tsuyama massacre is a mass murder case which happened in 1938 in Kamo Village, Okayama Prefecture. A young man, Mutsuo Toi, grew frustrated with residents who treated him ill and spreaded bad rumors about him, attacked them one after another with a shotgun and a Japanese sword. He killed 30 residents and finally took his own life. For which reason, this case is also called Tsuyama 30 Murderer. Tsuyama massacre shares similarities with the Sugisawa Village legend in terms of the mass murder in a village by a madman and a suicide intent. There are actually the differences in many aspects, including locations, like Okayama and Aomori prefectures are more than 1,200 kilometers away. But it's easy to imagine that this major incident in Japanese criminal history is the source of the formation of the Sugisawa Village legend. Oshimai. Thank you very much for listening to the story, as you find it. For those who have listened to it until this point, what do you think about Sugisawa Village? To be honest, I feel that Sugisawa Village probably does not exist, at least not in the way of village of horrific curses as described in urban legend. Well, if you say my mom is too cold-hearted, I might agree, because that's what my wife always told me. But I thought many of you felt the same way this time, right? Then, what I find interesting here is that the elements that make up this urban legend are certainly present in real life. If you already listened to episode 31 in this podcast, maybe you notice the similarities with the Inunaki Village story. In brief, Inunaki Village is said to be located in Fukuoka, close to the terrifying haunted spot Inunaki Tunnel. Rumor says there are villagers that have gone mad and would attack anybody who enters there. Actually, both villages have things in common, like the period of stories told, which is in late 90s, and the fact that anybody who enters the village is attacked. This period was also called the dawn of internet in Japan. Then we can see that both stories became well known throughout the country thanks to the rapid spread of internet. There's actually a difference between two stories. Like in Sugisawa Village, the attack is from the ghosts or spirits of past villagers, while in Inunaki Village, it is from mad villagers who may actually still exist. But even this difference is also like, we can call it as a sign that both stories have been developed around the internet and could be influenced by each other. Anyway, it is a very pleasant moment when you're unraveling the mystery of urban legends in general. And I hope you had the same feeling while listening to this episode as well. Anyway, do you have any theories on the story as well? I've got a Discord channel where anybody can join and share thoughts and theories. Of course, I'll be there as well. I'm gonna leave the link in the description, so please join and enjoy the interaction if you would. Also, I've got my own website, japanmakesmescared.com, where you can find a transcription of the story, more detailed information about the episode topic that I couldn't get to in podcast, and more visual images related to the episode as well. To reach my website, you can simply type Japan Makes Me Scared in your browser, or check the link in the description. Just one more thing. This podcast, Japan Makes Me Scared, is available on almost all popular podcast platforms like Spotify, Apple, YouTube, or Amazon Music. Also, if you push the follow button on the app of your choice. First of all, for me, it would be a huge support and motivation. And for you, you will not miss notifications for future episodes. So please consider following my podcast as well. Alright, we're getting close to the end. So let me say one thing. Arigatou gozaimasu again for listening to my podcast, Japan Makes Me Scared. And sayonara for more children thrills next time. Bye.